Once upon a time, in a quiet monastery nestled in the mountains, there lived a young student named Hiroshi. He was known for his diligence and respect for the teachings of his master, yet deep within him, a sense of restlessness lingered. Hiroshi often wondered about the true meaning of life and the path he was meant to follow. One day, as the cherry blossoms began to fall, Hiroshi approached his master, a wise old monk named Master Kaito. "Master," Hiroshi began, "I feel lost, as if I am merely following the footsteps of others. How do I find my own way in life?" Master Kaito smiled gently and said, "Hiroshi, go into the forest and walk until you find a path that is empty. Follow it, and there you may find your answer." With a bow, Hiroshi set out into the dense forest surrounding the monastery. The trees stood tall, their leaves whispering ancient secrets to the wind. As he walked, Hiroshi noticed many paths, each one worn and well-traveled. He followed them for a time, but each felt familiar and uninspiring, leading him back to where he had begun. Hours passed, and the sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows across the forest floor. Just as Hiroshi was beginning to doubt his quest, he stumbled upon a narrow, overgrown trail that seemed to lead deeper into the heart of the forest. Unlike the other paths, this one was untouched by human feet, with no signs of travelers or their journeys. It was an empty path, just as his master had described. With curiosity and a touch of apprehension, Hiroshi stepped onto the trail. The further he walked, the more the forest seemed to close in around him, the trees growing thicker and the light dimming. But Hiroshi pressed on, guided by a faint feeling of purpose. As he walked, the path began to disappear beneath his feet, blending into the wild terrain. Soon, there was no trail at all, only dense forest, uncharted and unknown. Hiroshi stopped, realizing he was truly alone in the wilderness, with no clear direction to follow. At that moment, a realization dawned upon him. The emptiness of the path was not a sign of nothingness, but an invitation, a challenge to forge his own way. It was in this absence of guidance that Hiroshi found clarity. Life, he understood, was not about following the well-trodden paths laid out by others but about creating his own journey, even if that meant stepping into the unknown. With renewed determination, Hiroshi began to carve his way through the forest, using his instincts and intuition to guide him. He no longer searched for a path, he made his own. The forest responded to his resolve, and soon he found himself emerging into a serene clearing, where the sunlight broke through the trees, illuminating a small, peaceful pond. Sitting by the water's edge, Hiroshi felt a deep sense of peace and fulfillment. He realized that the emptiness he had feared was actually the beginning of his true journey. By stepping off the familiar paths and embracing the unknown, he had found the courage to shape his own destiny. When Hiroshi returned to the monastery, Master Kaito greeted him with a knowing smile. "What did you find, Hiroshi?" he asked. "I found that the path I seek does not exist until I create it," Hiroshi replied. "And that the journey of life is about having the courage to walk where there is no path, to trust in oneself, and to carve one's own way." Master Kaito nodded, pleased with his student's discovery. "Indeed, Hiroshi. Remember this lesson well. Life is not about following, but about leading, starting with your own life. The emptiest paths often hold the greatest potential, for they are yours alone to fill." And so, Hiroshi continued his journey, no longer searching for the paths others had walked, but creating his own, guided by the wisdom of his experience in the empty path of the forest.